women should just be blanket believed if they use the hashtag MeToo. And let me tell you, the stories that women were sharing under that hashtag were getting more and more ridiculous. It wasn't just, oh, I was raped in a dark alley. Soon it became, I was hit on at work. Somebody asked me on a date, a colleague asked me on a date and I was uncomfortable next to the coffee machine, hashtag Me Too. The big, great reckoning we were going to have, men in the workplace, they're all monsters, they're all demons, and people were sharing ridiculous stories. And at that time, I tweeted this. I said, the entire premise of Me Too is that women are stupid, weak, and inconsequential. Too stupid to know what men might want if you come into their hotel room late at night, too weak to turn around and tell someone not to touch your ass again, or too inconsequential to realize this. You'll also recall at that time there were women who were telling stories about how they went to the hotel room of a man at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were very surprised when a man put the moves on them. It was very surprising. Why would a man do that? Well, I don't know. Maybe because you're signaling to him that you are okay with him putting the moves on you because it's the middle of the night and you're in his hotel room. But no, you couldn't say that at this time. But I did. I went on to say the biggest problem with the hashtag MeToo movement is that it turned sexual assault into a trend and simultaneously drowned out the voices of real rape victims who deserve to be heard. And I said I would speak on that issue at an upcoming conference in a few days because it was time for real women empowerment. And of course, when anything becomes a trend, whether it's BLM or Me Too, it becomes problematic.
What's going on, everyone? Starkskin here today, and it's Inconvenient Truths about Me Too. As you saw from the intro, I 100% agree with kind of Candace Owens' take here on this, right? Feminism fought for equality, right? And it seems like women want equality where they have disadvantages at, and they want to maintain their privileges where they have advantages at. For instance, the whole hashtag Me Too movement all started with this Hollywood, typical liberal stuff in Hollywood. He uses his position of power to get sexual favors from women, and he was found guilty of sexual assault. That's fine. But then, like Candace Owens pointed out, it became a trend. And this is the inconvenient truth about Me Too, is that essentially it gave anonymous women power to harm public men, like public men in the public light. I just think it's now time the false accusation needs something. There needs to be some type of penalty here, because the inconvenient truth is, it seemed like, and this is just human nature, but it seemed like a lot of people don't. Not a lot of young people. This is a woman thing. A lot of women actually don't seem to have any code of honor that they themselves will call out the mess. I mean, there's women like Candace Owens that's calling it out. I'm not trying to make the claim here. I'm talking about women are of their own volition, not saying, this is kind of wrong. I know he didn't really assaulted me. Why should I try to ruin his life for my own selfish ends? And it seems to prove the point that, a lot of these red pill people have about women. Oh, they seem to be selfish by nature, very self-centered by nature. And there's scientific evidence of that. Like, women are very subjective, men are very objective, right? And it seems like unless there's a consequence for false accusation, this is going to keep happening. Case study, Trevor Bauer, which is the reason I made this video, is that recently his story is going viral. And I was about to talk about something else for Inconvenient Truths. But then I noticed this. I was like, I got to talk about this now. Especially what the video I did yesterday about why marriage isn't the foundation of society. Because culture is a big problem, for a big cause of why stuff like this happens. Let me ask you something. And Candace Owens called this out in 2018. We're going to talk about this after the Trevor Noah case. But if Me Too never happened, do you think this woman would have been able, what's her name, Lindsay Hill, would be able to accuse this Dodger picture, the ex-Dodger picture, and cost him his contract, cost him his job, cost him earnings that she could never replace? And it's from the offset. You can tell he was the victim, not her. But because of the Me Too movement, believe all women, this malicious woman used it for her own ends. And she had media behind her, court of public opinion behind her. We don't believe in the innocent until proven guilty stuff anymore. I think we lost that a long time ago. And that's because of culture. And if a society's built on a culture like this, Don't be surprised when a lot more women come out and misuse it. And don't be surprised when men stop trusting women from like an anonymous woman attacking a public figure. We're going to be like, oh yeah, it's about money. Oh yeah, she's trying to get back at him. No one's going to believe women at this point. It's going to go from believe all women to don't believe any woman. And that's the risk y'all women have. And this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people can't think long term. They think, oh, I could benefit from it now. But they don't see in the long term how it hurt them as a collective. But hey, I digress. So let's get into the Trevor Bauer case. I'm going to give it like a 2-minute video of it. And he's going to kind of encapsulate everything that happened. And I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the clip. Let's take a look.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. You better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you 50,000, Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place.
I think that pretty much summarized everything that happened, right? This is ridiculous, right? And I think, as much as I complain about social media, as much as I think it brings out the worst aspects of human nature and human beings as a whole, it's a blessing in disguise, right? For every adversity, there's an advantage. And one of the advantages of social media is that it exposes the true nature of everything. It shows the reality, right? We can see how vindictive people can be, how entitled people can be, right? TikTok is a perfect example of this. That's why I'm never going on TikTok. I'm sorry. Still this person that said, oh, we should believe all women. You would have believed her story. And you would have put an innocent man through jail. Candace Owens made a contrast with the MeToo movement with a witch hunt. And that's exactly what it is. That was a perfect analogy by Candace Owens. This is a witch hunt. That because of the genitalia between your legs, one person is automatically believed and another person is automatically condemned. It's guilty until proven innocent. And that's the reality that this case has revealed to men. And men been knew about this for a long time, right? Every public Me Too movement, trendy, all over social media has been proven false every single time after the Weinstein case, right? The Duke hockey players debunked. The mattress girl, remember the mattress girl? Oh yeah, I was in college around that time. Yeah, the mattress girl, fake. What else? It's countless at this point. Every single time. Every highly publicized Me Too movement campaign in case, girl get all the fame, girl get all the accolades, get all the exposure, and then when the truth come out, crickets. It's quiet. Already ruined a ton of men's careers. There's cases of men that have been through jail over false accusation. And they lost years off their life. I remember one story very vividly. I forgot the guy's name. a basketball player or from some college team, he got accused of SA. You guys know what I mean by that. And he lost his career. He lost his chance to go to the NBA. Everything. Went to jail. Girl years later came out and said, oh, I lied about this whole thing. Man can never get his contract back. Man can never get... You can't reverse time. This man spent 10 years in prison for something he was false. Better than a guilty man run free than an innocent man spend 1 day in jail. That was the court of law in our country today. But because of our culture, we don't respect that anymore. And that's my point. Culture is the foundation of society. If you have a bad culture, no matter what kind of institution, marriage, it doesn't matter. The culture will incentivize bad behaviors and bad outcomes. And then when the men react accordingly, I don't want to hear people, because at the end of the day, you can't tell people how they should respond to something. Oh, men shouldn't respond this way. How can you, when the way you guys portrayed this whole thing, it's without question. I don't understand how people can justify the Me Too movement at this point. I don't understand why there's still people out here trading about the Me Too movement. Now you got Matt Walsh out here talking about, there needs to be some punishment out here for this stuff, because it shows that people will not change unless there's a consequence. So much for atheists saying they don't need a book to tell them how to be moral. This is what happens when you live in a non-religious society. No one has any code of conduct or honor at this point, it seems like. It seems like every man for themselves or every woman for herself at this point. This is extortion. You can tell she wanted money. From the rip, she wanted money. And we're supposed to have this angelical outlook on women. This is craziness, man. Hey, bro. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, the inconvenient truth about Me Too is that it's always been about power. It's always been based on identity politics. But let's look at Candace Owens. I want to bring this clip up because Candace Owens called this out since 2018. I remember 2018 was the height of this stuff. If you question, if you even look at Me Too sideways, people were questioning your morals, your nature, your values, your principles. Oh my God, you don't believe in Me Too? You don't believe in women?
No, I wasn't talking about rape victims. I was talking about the Me Too trend, just like BLM trend was not talking about victims of racism. It just became trendy to perceive everything as racism. And with Me Too, it became trendy to perceive everything as an aggression by men. It became trendy to call everything sexual assault, even if it wasn't, even if it was just a bad date, a guy trying to put the moves on you, a guy asking you on a date. It was awful. And then there were headlines. Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. I was so under fire. This one from the Dallas Morning News. Me Too makes women look stupid, weak, conservative figurehead Candace Owens says ahead of the Dallas Women's Summit. Town Hall wrote, Candace Owens' take on rape survivors and the Me Too movement is all wrong. Again, like I said, left and right, I was condemned. There were people at the time I was working for Turning Point USA, young women who were coming out crying, saying, how can she still be the communications director if she doesn't support the Me Too movement? They wanted me to be fired. I'm not kidding. They were young girls who wanted me to be fired because I did not understand the importance of this trending hashtag, except I did understand it. I understood exactly what was happening. I was watching men lose their jobs, having to step down from their careers on the basis of one woman using a tweet and a hashtag without any further examination, because women liked the trend of Me Too. So people that were not actually victims, and some people who just really wanted to seek revenge on certain men, maybe they went on a date with them, they didn't get called back, were now being empowered to make up allegations. And for a while, those allegations went unchecked. It was a matriarchal movement. As I said, we were existing under a matriarchy, and men were suffering beneath it. I believe in due process. I don't believe that a tweet and a hashtag can condemn somebody. I don't believe that a tweet and a hashtag, even if it's being used by tons of women, necessarily means that a man is guilty of a crime.
Like, you don't believe women victims? No. Why had to get into big debates in college over this stuff? And I'm glad Candace always called it out since then. And she's vindicated even now. How many years has it been? 6 years? No, not 6 years. That's too much. 5 years. It's been 5 years since this stuff been going on. And we still don't have a single law about false accusations. This is craziness. And then when men And then these same conservatives will want men to approach women. How can you approach somebody when they can spin the whole interaction, make you look like a villain, no proof at all, or hit themselves, create proof, and in the court of public opinion, you lose your job, you lose face. People have a false conception of you, and it seems like the lies spread faster than the truth. You got people still out there today believing that Brett Kavanaugh did something to some lady when the lady had no proof. 25 years later, you're not even a tiny bit skeptical. And I think a lot of reason why a lot of women hop on the Me Too trend is that they know they can personally benefit from it. I'm sorry, I'm going with the worst aspect of human nature, because that's what the point of laws are. Is to combat the worst aspects of human nature, so that way the laws are not misused by them. And this is one of them. And until this stuff is shored up, you can't really go out here and be telling men, oh, you go approach a woman, oh, just approach. This is why men prefer online dating. And you can say, yeah, hookup culture opens you up for false accusations more. But this is the culture we have today. And this is not changing anytime soon. I think it's going to take, I always joke around. I say it's going to take decades, but men are responding how they think is best in the immediate moment. But hey, I digress. You guys let me know what you guys think about this. Give me your thoughts about the Me Too movement, from where it started, from where it is now. Was it ever based on good intentions, or was it always a means of extortion from famous men? I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next Inconvenient Truths. Peace.